We have risen from the ashes to school the masses. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Scholars of Wrestling show. I'm your man behind the microphone, Scholar Jeff. To my right is Scholar Tarek. How's it going, sir?
I think you should be more clear on your introductions, fool. The former Scholars of Wrestling champion, Scholar Jeff.
Well, I think it goes without saying because I didn't mention it, but
I had to bring it up.
Of course you did. Because Lord knows we wouldn't actually bring it up before or later on in the show. But yes, Extreme Rules has not been kind to me personally, but it has been very kind to one Scholar Brian, who is the new Scholars of Wrestling champion. But we're going to talk about all his path to glory later on tonight. But first, I wish he could be here in person so I could hand over the belt in person as it was conferred to me.
He already had the belt, though.
Yes.
Granted, it was in a fridge. Good job, Brian.
Yeah. I'm trying to be a graceful.
And now he's been nonstop
I'm trying
texting
to be graceful
me.
in defeat.
He's been nonstop texting me, just pictures. He's B-teaming with the Scholars of Wrestling Championship, and next thing you know, I just see him with Red Bull, or in his case, Monster, and beer. That's been his week. Good for him. Good for you, Brian. Good for you. And well, he may have won the championship, but also I was declared a winner of the prediction show, and I'm always a winner when I have the Scholars of Wrestling, the Mr. Scholar in the Bank.
It's not going to be anything until you cash it in, buddy.
Oh, it's just how Braun Strowman just goes on and just saying he doesn't need to insert himself in a number one contender match. He has the briefcase. I didn't need to be in this in the title match for Extreme Rules because I have this briefcase. And I will continue to love it, stroke it, until that final moment when I cash this baby in and declare myself a two-time Scholars of Wrestling champion.
Yes, sure. You can talk about your belts and fridges, and you can talk about your Scholars in the Bank briefcases and all you want. All I know for certain is we are only a few short weeks away from SummerSlam, an event where the belt can and will be defended no matter what. Isn't that right?
You didn't need to add in the can, but it will be defended for all three of us.
Well, I'm rolling stream of consciousness right now.
Okay.
That's what I do. I'm tired. I'm running on 4 cups of coffee. I want to talk about wrestling and the fact that, as far as I'm concerned, at SummerSlam, I'm going to make it my mission to not only get that belt back, but make it the prestige and really show it off as the prestigious title that it is. I will carry that belt proudly.
Are you saying that I did not?
I'm saying that. Anyway, let's.
I win! I finally shut you up.
You only shut me up because I'm within striking distance. But make no mistake about it, I will get that belt back.
Man, that sounds so familiar. It feels good to now know that I have also a former champion declaring his mission now to regain that title, but my mission is closer to completion, if you know what I mean. I'll just keep bringing this baby out so many times because as much as Brian doesn't want to admit it, it's still here. His chance in that spotlight is very, very short.
You sleep with that thing, don't you?
Are you kidding? I have sex with that thing all the time.
Well, speaking of extreme things, let's move on to results of
this week. You can't get any more extreme than that.
Oh, I certainly hope not. But anyway, the WWE has certainly tried with 2018's edition of Extreme Rules. Let's just go over the results already. Starting with the pre-show, we had Andrade Cien Almas being booked at the very last minute to go over Sin Cara.
This was actually a really good match.
Honestly, it seriously was better than I was expecting. Probably because I feel like it's been a while since I've actually seen Sin Cara in whatever his forms on TV.
There really isn't very much to say about this. It was a very good match. These two definitely know how to work with each other. Granted, their SmackDown match I felt was just a little bit better, probably just because they were given more time. But yeah, the right man won, and he just proved how awesome he can be on this yesterday's episode of SmackDown Live against AJ Styles, and hopefully that gets him out of the fact that he hasn't been shown in weeks, and he's been facing jobbers and Sin Cara. Now, hopefully, this will lead to something greater for him.
Yeah, well, considering that he went from facing Sin Cara on the pre-show to having a match with AJ Styles, I take that as a sign of hope that at least he's going to be upgrading and he's going to be moving on to something bigger and better. Anyway, moving on to the next match, we've got Sanity defeating the New Day.
I honestly don't have anything to say about this. The right team won.
Yeah, once again, I got the impression that these two matches were among the more predictable ones on the card, at least for us.
Oh, yeah. And it was predictable for everyone because both the guys who won needed to win. And they continued that streak with an actually very fun singles match between Kofi Kingston and Eric Young. Did you watch that one?
No, I actually did not.
It was actually a very fun match. Sanity and New Day were involved somehow outside the ring, and it led to what was it? Wow, I'm blanking out on his name. Killian Dane.
Yeah, the big guy.
Yeah, Killian Dane throwing Xavier Woods while Eric Young in the ring was throwing Kofi Kingston, and next thing you know, Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston, boom, hit each other, and that allowed Eric Young to do that wheelbarrow neck breaker, which is an awesome move. I love that move. And to secure another victory and hopefully keep this winning streak going for Sanity.
Mm-hmm. I really want these guys to be built up, as so many other of the newbies that are coming in from NXT. They all deserve a shot.
Other than their promos before they stopped with the promos and we had to wait another few weeks for them to actually debut, have they been on the mic?
Not that I can recall lately. Unless there's a random segment that I must have missed if I was out of the room for a specific segment of Raw or SmackDown.
Yeah, I don't recall seeing them doing any promos or backstage segments, but I may have been in the same boat with you. I may have just been away from the TV, or because I'm watching SmackDown late at night, I probably drifted off.
Like, given
the only time I really
given how much content that WWE is producing these days, I mean, it had to happen eventually. You can't possibly keep track of 5 or 6 hours of wrestling every single week.
It's not even just that. I do manage to catch up for the sake of the show, but it's very rare now that I watch the shows live, especially if you've been following my Twitter reactions for the shows. They're like an hour late after what's happened. And it's just it's because, I got my 2 little ones to try and knock out before I start watching these shows.
Yeah, life just gets in the way no matter who you are.
The father life is very difficult, but I still love it, and I love these kids.
I question your sanity if you said anything else. But in the meantime, back in the wrestling world...
sanity. I get that.
I wish I meant that as a pun.
Well, I took it as a pun, and it would actually fit very well.
I'm hilarious. Moving on, we also have, in a surprising twist, the B Team defeated Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt to become the new Raw Tag Team Champions. Did you honestly have any hint that this was coming?
Not at all. I was actually very surprised at that. And I was also surprised at how short this match was. And it just seems like, another miscommunication with Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy, which just leads to the B Team winning, which, it caught me completely off guard. I wasn't a huge fan of it at first, but because I just personally feel that the B Team has kind of lost their edge just as quickly as they gained it. And I'm just hoping Bray and Matt actually have these guys be as a transitional championship. This is the only time where I actually will be okay with them hot potatoing a belt, or in this case, belts.
Yeah, I'm under the impression right now that it seems like they're hinting at a reunion between Matt and Jeff Hardy. Now that they can basically kickstart the Broken Universe again.
They hinted at them getting back together.
Yeah, didn't after the Randy Orton's attack on Jeff Hardy, I think he was tweeting something about him being broken.
He's been saying that for the past couple episodes of SmackDown. He's actually really emphasizing on this one because of Shinsuke Nakamura. But he's been going on the fact that he's a different person. He has the contacts in for the past couple weeks. I don't look at it as just them hinting at getting back together. It's just them hinting that they're still a part of the Broken Universe. Just the universe spreads throughout WWE.
Yeah, and just the fact that they're going with that, it's sort of, unless it's a red herring or something, my gut says they're sort of toying with the idea that they're gonna reunite them.
I don't look at it as reunite. It's just the fact that they're in that universe, just on different shows. They're
going to associate them together somehow. Possibly.
I mean, they still when Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy first got together, Bray called him Brother Nero. So it's still, and before Jeff went all crazy with the makeup, he was just as much part of the Broken Universe. So, yeah. But when it comes to the B team being tag team champions, it's kind of hard to really take it seriously. Mainly just because they've been booked as such a comedy skit, and being just nothing more than lackeys for the Miz when Miz was still on Raw. It's kind of hard to really take it fully seriously. I would kind of say it's kind of a Jinder Mahal feeling to it, but the difference is we're actually they don't really treat the tag team championships that well, at least on the side of Raw. But yeah, it's interesting just because I like Curtis Axel and I like Bo Dallas. Give them this rub, but yeah, if anything, do we really want to see the B team versus Authors of Pain at SummerSlam?
I kind of do, just to see him get destroyed.
If you want to see it that way, sure.
Again, this to me is one of those situations that it's all going to come down to what the payoff is. If they stick the landing with this and they come up with something interesting in terms of their next feud or the next blow-off for the B team, that is how I'm going to appraise their current title reign. Honestly, could be bad, could be good.
For me personally, what they've been hinting at, it looks like it's possibly going to be a fatal four-way between B Team, the Leaders of Worlds, Authors of Pain, and the Revival. Because even though the Revival is not being involved with them promo-wise, when they're having their matches, you see the Revival studying them. They show bits of Revival backstage watching these matches, like I said, studying them. So there are small hints of possibilities of being a fatal four-way for SummerSlam. And it's only it's the four teams that actually matter on Raw. The rest are just jobber teams.
Again, I was about to say I'd be cool with that if that's what they end up doing. Hey, if that's a payoff, then cool. Works for me. Moving on to the next match, we've got Finn Balor defeating Baron Corbin. I got a feeling that this is another very predictable one.
I would say that. I just got to stop. It's Daniel Bryan and Big Cass all over again. That's pretty much what this feud is built on. The fact that Baron Corbin's a tall guy. That's really it. And I got to stop looking at these storylines as like, okay, they're trying to build some actual credibility in this feud. So the only way to keep this going is if the heel wins. I got to stop that shit. That's 3 times I got a false prediction. But the difference between that is when it comes to Daniel Bryan, he's been winning decisively for Baron Corbin and Finn Balor, Baron Corbin took control of that, like 80% of that match, and then it just ended with Finn Balor doing a quick roll up. So who really won there?
Finn Balor.
No, well, the match, sure, but really, when you look at it in the long run, who really won in this one? Because Finn Balor wasn't really booked to look strong in the match. It was a cheap roll-up victory, and Baron Corbin, of course, just like Big Cass, just because he's big, he still can't get the job done.
The impression I'm under when I see matches like this is that, number one, the ending is very reminiscent of a lot of real-life fights, where even though the other person may have the reach advantage and maybe basically style on him for most of the fight, again, there may be times where the other person just gets caught with something, like just a surprise punch or just boom, out of nowhere, it can just happen. Does that mean it works all the time? No, of course not. But I'm just seeing that's one possibility I can see of what they were originally going for. In terms of what other purpose does it serve, maybe they'll have another blow-off feud with Baron Corbin and Finn Balor, for all we know. Maybe we could even get them on the pre-show for SummerSlam. I don't know. It depends on how they build it up.
That's just a shame to even think about Finn Balor. Finn Balor on the pre-show for SummerSlam.
Well, to be fair, there have been episodes of Sunday Night Heat where I've seen The Undertaker show up, so...
Well, was this MTV Sunday Night Heat or actual USA?
I believe it was USA.
Yeah, it was when Sunday Night Heat was actually worth something.
Yeah, either way, I've seen far more offensive things in my time.
Speaking of offensive, in this next match, I hated this match.
I love this match.
This match, well, it's official. Asuka has lost complete credibility. At least to me, it does.
Asuka has not lost credibility in my heart.
Your heart is one thing. When it comes to credibility, when it comes to booking, she's completely gone. This match made her look like a complete idiot.
Did it make her look like a complete idiot, or did it make the team of James Ellsworth and Carmella look cunning?
I think it made Carmella look like a complete idiot. This match was was dumb. I've never liked shark cage matches. The second the bell rang, James Ellsworth was dropping, what was it, the chain and the mace spray, whatever the hell that thing was. And then all of a sudden he had a key to open the thing, and of course he being a complete idiot, James Ellsworth, he trips or he just dangles himself. And of course Asuka's, instead of realizing, oh yeah, that's right, I'm in a match. No, I'm just going to keep kicking James Ellsworth because she can. And then Carmella takes the advantage, pushes, knocks her head into the shark cage, and then roll up 1, 2, 3. Asuka looks like was just made to look like a complete idiot, and she still gets zero reaction from the fans. She is not appealing in any form. Let me ask you something. Which would you have rather seen at SummerSlam? Well, at least that's what the starting build for this is. Mm-hmm. Would you have rather see Becky Lynch versus Carmella for the women's title, or would you want to see Becky Lynch versus Asuka for the women's title? Is this really hard for you?
Yes, it is, and I'll explain why. On the one hand, I see where you're going with Becky Lynch and Asuka for the women's title in terms of just raw, not just credibility, but also just raw wrestling talent. That alone, if it was like a special attraction match, I can see that being a superior match technically. However, Carmella is a very obnoxious heel. And in terms of what traditionally has a tendency to work, there's a case that could be made to say that Asuka versus Carmella would possibly be the superior match to see. So
You mean Asuka versus Becky Lynch?
no, Asuka versus Carmella
Well, that match happened,
because of the
and nothing
face heel dynamic.
and nothing superior came out of it. It just made they just wanted to keep the belt on Carmella because she's nothing more than a pretty face, and they at the cost of Asuka's credibility. Not even mentioned on SmackDown Live. What she's just gone. And now we got the people's champion for the women's division in Becky Lynch, and hopefully she'll regain that SmackDown women's title and just get Carmella away. Because I'm sorry, I understand where you're coming from. I understand what they're trying to do with her, but I'm sorry, she just doesn't have it in the ring. Not even before the whole thing with James Ellsworth hanging off the shark cage, she's not good.
Well, thankfully, that's one good reason why we do have
She's Kelly bad.
Nah, at least Carmella's got charisma.
I'm not talking about charisma. She's got the character down. I will give her that. But when it comes to actual in-ring talent, she's Kelly bad.
Kelly was like a teenage squid in a box. Carmella's not nearly that bad.
Oh, I think she is. I stand by that. Hell, I give Eva Marie more credit than Carmella does. That's right. I went there.
I disagree. Anyway, if we
you're
want
entitled to disagree, but that's how I feel.
And that's how I feel too. Opinions, damn it.
Boom.
Now you want to talk about travesties. Let's talk about this next match. Shinsuke Nakamura ball punching Jeff Hardy in 6 seconds and wins the U.S. title. Why, Shinsuke? This is so disappointing on so many levels.
To be fair, we actually got the match that we all wanted on SmackDown Live. But as Brian Alvarez said, if the SmackDown match was on Extreme Rules, this would have been so much better. The pay-per-view would have been so much better. But I couldn't stop laughing. I thought this was hilarious.
Are you saying that because you predicted
No.
Shinsuke to win and I didn't?
No, I wasn't thinking that at all. I knew Shinsuke was going to win because, in my opinion, Shinsuke was going to win before the whole dog bite incident. But this was just, it was different. I was not expecting this. Shinsuke is keep going with the fact that he just loves hitting guys in the balls, and it was just so completely out of nowhere, and it just fits so well for what they were doing with Shinsuke Nakamura. And now we got a heel Randy Orton back out of it, and damn. No. At first I was like, okay, maybe so. Randy Orton's back. He's hinting at a heel turn, especially with the fact that he didn't do an RKO, which everyone loves to see. He hits Jeff Hardy in the balls to basically ball hitting Shinsuke Nakamura. And then you have SmackDown where he is just doing some crazy shit. I mean, the fact that he went and took his finger and just stuck it in Jeff Hardy's, I found out this is what it's called, flesh tube, and just was pulling on it, just going, pulling. I was like, just the natural reaction from the one woman just going, oh God, no, stop it. It got me cringing, and I'm just like, you know what? I like this. I wanted this Randy Orton back for a long time. Doing just the part where he is just such a bastard. He is just such an asshole. Where I wanted this, and he wanted to be a heel for a long time. So he's finally getting what he wants out of it.
I don't know. I feel like I've seen enough of Randy Orton for one lifetime. I do not care to see more, unless I really start seeing something new and something fresh. I'm just burned down on Randy Orton in general these days.
He did do something fresh. He stuck his finger in someone's ear hole and was just pulling. I've never seen anything like that. And it was just gruesome and gross.
Gross.
Seriously, I'm just like, oh, dude, stop pulling. Oh my God. Literally, this was my reaction while I was watching SmackDown. Dude, stop. That is, oh. I missed having natural reactions like that while watching my wrestling.
Well, maybe I'll need to give...
Thank you, Randy Orton. Thank you for making me get that disgusted natural reaction.
Well, maybe I'll have to give him another try.
But when it came to Extreme Rules, I hated that. I didn't like that we were denied a match, but I couldn't stop laughing because I'm like, you know what? That's something Shinsuke would do. At least this heel Shinsuke.
Well, speaking of what wrestlers would do and crazy finishes, next up on the docket we had Kevin Owens technically defeating Braun Strowman via cage shenanigans.
This match wasn't even a match. It really wasn't. This was more storytelling than actual wrestling. And Coach is just an idiot. There's like, they explain the rules that you can climb the cage to win. You can use the door. There are so many ways he can actually escape. And Coach is just going, there's nowhere for Kevin Owens to run. There are plenty of places for Kevin Owens to run. He could actually run out of the cage to win the match. You idiot.
More like Vince, you idiot. Because you know he's getting fed lines this entire time.
I guess. But, man, and of course, apparently the whole throwing off the top of the cage through the table was because it's the 20-year anniversary of Mankind, of Mick Foley getting thrown off the cell.
You're damn right it is.
Damn right. Granted, you're throwing a guy who has no injured back history off the steel cage onto an announcer's table. But I think the part that actually frustrated me the most is more on the line of the prediction. I even said it last week on the prediction show. Everything is pointing at, I'm even wearing the shirt. Everything is pointing for Kevin Owens to win this. Kevin Owens should win this. Braun doesn't get hurt if he loses this match, especially considering it was a steel cage match. I was like, everything in my head is telling me, choose Kevin Owens. Choose Kevin Owens. I was even listening to my heart. My heart was going, choose KO. Choose KO. And of course, I'm just like, you know what? Just because it's Braun Strowman and Braun is at that stage where it's Braun wins, LOL. But granted, we love Braun Strowman. I just went like, I had to just go with Braun Strowman just because I have to. And of course, the one time I don't follow my heart, it cost me a point.
Learn my lesson.
I was like,
you must follow your heart, for that's
not
the
all
only
the time.
way to victory.
Not all the time. The heart can betray you sometimes. Most of the time, actually. That's why I try and follow with my head. But yeah, when it came to this, it was more storytelling than anything. Kevin Owens was, after he handcuffed Braun Strowman, he tried to egg on, gets chokeslammed. He's like, oh, I think I've stayed in here long enough. I got to try and get out of here. Braun is just trying to kill the man. And
we love you for it.
It's also the fact that people are just pointing out that Braun is right now, he is more heel than anything in this feud. That he is just nothing more than a bully. He is just bullying this poor man.
I'm sorry, he's a what?
A bully.
Oh, now I heard you.
But yeah, he is just being a complete dick. And I do see where they're going, but also the man tried to kill Brock Lesnar and Kane with scaffolding at one point. So
yeah.
I don't look at Braun as a babyface. I don't look at Braun as a heel. I just look at him as Braun Strowman.
He's like a force in nature.
He's just Braun. Braun. Braun!
Well, either way, he at least he still has the money in the bank, and as we all know, briefcases make everything more interesting, don't they?
You're damn right it does.
Not that I would know. Anyway, moving on to the next match, we got the Bludgeon Brothers defeating Team Hell No, which was a little surprising, but not entirely unexpected.
It wasn't surprising. I predicted it. I think the part that actually was surprising is the fact that Kane actually did have an ankle injury, hence why they did the whole storyline of Bludgeon Brothers closing the door on him, using one of their hammers on him. It was a way to get Kane out of this match to an extent. But yeah, it turns out Kane actually does have an ankle injury. That's what maybe Team Hell No was supposed to win this match. But because Kane actually getting legit injured, they had to change it. But it worked in my favor.
Yeah, but then again, the world may never know at this point.
It still worked in my favor. That's all that matters.
Well, I've got no transition for this next one. Bobby Lashley defeated Roman Reigns. Next match.
To be fair, it actually was a pretty decent match.
It was.
You got to really give it to him. The only real thing is that now this match is completely pointless, considering the fact that they're doing it again next week. And, man, as much as I loved those triple threat matches on Raw, why did the results have to be the same? Why do the one thing that I feel SmackDown is definitely doing a lot better than Raw is that they're actually putting new faces in the main title picture or in the world title picture. When you look at Raw, there's only 4 people that in Vince's eyes that are actually worthy of having that Universal Championship. 1 is the champion. 2 of them are actually fighting for the number 1 contender spot. And the 4th guy, he's the Mr. Money in the Bank. Those are the only 4 guys that Vince actually thinks is worthy of the Universal Championship. Everyone else is just nothing more than upper mid-card. I mean, granted, if Roman... I would love to have seen Drew McIntyre or Finn Balor put some new faces in it. As I posted on Twitter, instead of putting newer stars over, putting them in the world title picture, actually having them gain credibility in the eyes of the fans. Instead, nope, we give it to Roman Reigns. At least with Bobby Lashley, it's a new face, but it's still the fact that it's one of those one of those 4 people that Vince sees as only worthy of having the Universal title, instead of someone who is literally the biggest face on Raw, Seth Rollins, or someone who actually is a natural face in Finn Balor. And who is a good natural heel as Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, honestly, as far as this match goes, I really had no emotional investment in it. Like you said, the match itself was fine. It was good.
That bump that Bobby Lashley took, that was brutal. The fireman's carry to the floor. Ugh, that looked like it hurt.
Yeah, it's just a shame that I really don't have any interest in either of these guys on paper. Like I'm just not emotionally invested at all, even when the match itself is good.
I'm kind of warming up to Bobby Lashley, especially after he posted. It's like, so apparently this Extreme Rules match means nothing, considering the fact that I have to face Roman again. It's like, yeah, he's pointing out the stupidity of Raw's booking too.
Hey, at least they know that he's been around the block. I think he's got enough leeway that no one will give him a hard time for speaking his mind like that.
What are the odds we're going to get a triple threat match between Bobby Lashley, Roman Reigns, and Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam?
Very good. I've got my own theory about that, and I will refrain from commenting further up until we get closer to SummerSlam.
Okay.
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 Okay. In the meantime, so here's Alexa Bliss, and she's defeating Nia Jax.
If you took Ronda Rousey out of this match would have been terrible. It was not a good match.
Yeah, I was tired.
And then you have Corey Graves. I cannot believe he said this. He was saying, Alexa Bliss can get herself disqualified or counted out and she'd still be Raw Women's Champion. And then it takes Michael Cole to point out, it's an Extreme Rules match, Corey. She can't do that. I'm like, Wait.
Shut up, Graves.
Wait. Did he really just say that? But yeah, if you took Ronda Rousey out of it, this match was no good. But the fact that Ronda Rousey jumped over the barricade and just was kicking ass, taking names, she really is awesome. She is fitting into the WWE perfectly.
Yes, I'm very, very happy with what they're doing with Ronda Rousey at this point.
She's pretty much the female Stone Cold. She just does not give a shit. She just comes in, kicks ass, and that's really it. All she needs is a beer. That really is it.
Just wait until she eats Alexa Bliss alive at SummerSlam. It'll be great. It'll be great. But in the meantime, speaking of great, we did have, on the same show, AJ Styles defeating Rusev in... I am very tempted to call it my match of the night.
I really didn't have a match of the night. It was actually a toss-up between the last two matches, and I just basically put them as equal. But yeah, this was great. This was a great match. Both parties were booked phenomenally, no pun intended. Rusev was booked to look super strong, as he should, and Aiden English moving the turnbuckle, costing him the match. I'm intrigued on what they're going to do storyline-wise, especially with Aiden English going to Lana, asking for to talk to Rusev to apologize. Now there's some kind of friction between the Team Rusev Day. Hopefully they don't break the team up. Hopefully Rusev and Aiden English doesn't end up being a match at SummerSlam.
Why would you be opposed to that?
Because I like them together.
Fair enough.
And also, once Rusev destroys Aiden English, where does Aiden English go from there? To basically being a jobber again. He would be.
I know he's got better skills for it, but something tells me, it would just be wasted somewhere else.
So and these two fit with each other so perfectly. But yeah, Rusev was just booked to look dominant. He is now at that point where he deserves to be in that spot, to be a top main eventer for SmackDown. Even if he's not in the title picture, he deserves to have a top feud.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And I take this whole match and whole experience as a sign that they're very happy with Rusev right now. But anyway, moving on with who's happy with what. I noticed going into this match that we were all tied up. That whoever won this match would determine who the next Scholars of Wrestling Championship was going to be. And of course, Dolph Ziggler won. I still picked Seth Rollins, and I gotta tell you, this was down to the wire. It was exciting for the entire 30 minutes, even though I was starting to get sleepy. And then no pinfall landed by the end of the 30 minutes. Then everything gets reset again. Like, okay, this is it. This is when Seth Rollins is going to win it all. And
nope.
And it's gone.
When it came to the match, it was a good mix. The reason I actually tied this up with Rusev and AJ Styles as my match of the night, because I really couldn't choose between the two. It was a perfect blend of storytelling and wrestling. It was Seth took a demanding lead, and most people didn't like the fact that Seth took the demanding lead. As most people, it's like with Iron Man matches, the baby faces usually are the ones who are the ones losing to basically have the obstacle of overcoming the heel.
Mm-hmm.
I like this one of Seth Rollins trying to keep his winning streak. I like when the babyface is trying to defend it, and I feel like Seth is put in the position how he's been booked this past year, where he should be the one actually defending because he's being booked so strong, and how Dolph has been booked to look not so. This is kind of his redemption arc, at least how he's been booked recently, or at least like last year how he was booked. This year he's actually been booked very well, especially as a heel. Like with the cheap pins. Actually, I don't even remember. I definitely remember him using the ropes on one pin. I don't remember how he was able to gain the other victories. He took advantage of Drew McIntyre beating down Seth Rollins. I remember that. But the one thing that definitely took away from this match was the crowd. When they started counting down with the clock, it was fun at first, with them just going 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It was cute at first. I actually got a good laugh out of it, but it definitely, once they actually started reaching, like when they did like 5 times in a row, and then the fact that that WWE actually took off the clock so they can try and stop doing it, but instead the crowd was just doing it at random times. It was just going 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I was still amused by this, honestly.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I still found it amusing because there's no way that the WWE and the regular fan base are going to let them get away with that again.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Like I said, I enjoyed it at first, but it reached that point where now they're just trolling. They're trolling the show. It's sort of similar to just all the chants they were giving for if it was Roman Reigns. It felt like it was a no-win situation. Granted, I actually loved the idea of the Intercontinental Championship match main eventing the show because it's 2 guys who actually deserve to main event a show for something so prestigious as the Intercontinental Championship. But most people would put it, it's the fans are putting us at a point where WWE is finally giving us something that we want, yet they're still hijacking the show, trolling the show, not giving a shit what's going on, only caring about the clock.
That particular time, yeah.
I feel now it's like, why would WWE try and make us happy now? Because once they're actually trying to do something to make us happy, the crowd is still being a bunch of assholes. Granted, it was in Pittsburgh, so it makes sense. Pennsylvania crowds, mainly Philly and Pittsburgh, are assholes. Those crowds suck. I seriously doubt that the New York, New Jersey crowd would actually do something like that.
The rumor going around is that WWE is concerned that Roman Reigns versus Bobby Lashley, if it went on last, would have gotten booed out of the building.
Oh, it would have.
Yes, which, in order to avoid that, that's why they booked the matches the way that they did. Again, it absolutely worked. I thought Ziggler and Seth Rollins were plenty enough to close the show.
Oh, I agree. They were plenty enough to close the show too. But you also have to think about it. They like to have the crowd go home happy. Why not just have AJ Styles and Rusev on last? Because no matter who would have won that match, the crowd would have been happy. Because I seriously doubt they would want a cheap heel victory as how they ended this match with the sudden death overtime, and then all of a sudden Drew shows up again, and then allows Ziggler to give the zigzag pinfall victory. But why would you want to pull something like that leave the crowd upset because their person who they want to win ends up getting screwed?
Hey, all I know
Granted,
is...
like I said, I love the fact that the Intercontinental Championship was main eventing the show. Something they even pointed out that hasn't happened in 17 years. Since Triple H and Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Kane and Undertaker, when it was the WWE Championship, the Intercontinental Championship, and the Tag Team Championship were all on the line. But yeah, booking it just didn't make sense. And of course, the crowd were a bunch of assholes that possibly took away some chance of WWE actually trying to give a shit and give us actually good quality entertainment, something we want.
So in that case, what would you rate what's your final beard rating for this show?
When I really broke down each match and just how it made me feel at the end, I'm gonna give it a peach fuzz, a 2. It wasn't a good. It wasn't a good show. It wasn't a great show. It was the show. It was just a show. It was just a time filler, and I definitely got that feeling. And most of the results are just were just shit results, and it's gonna be. I'm not gonna remember this event.
Oh yeah, I've already forgotten. That's why I need the notes.
Which is such a shame because I feel like Kevin Owens literally getting thrown off the top of a steel cage through a table, knowing his his injuries with his back throughout his career, putting so much on the line, it's going to be blown away or blown off. Because I seriously doubt WWE is going to be promoting that's how they have Mankind getting thrown off the cell with Undertaker. So, in the end, what was the point? So, yeah, peach fuzz.
Yeah. I'm going to be a little bit more kind and give it a 2.5, where the peach fuzz is really coming in, but it's not a full beard yet. This, again, I agree with all the things you just said, but even so, when you really look at it, I still had a little too much fun to go anything beyond 2.5. Again, we're talking peach fuzz, but wait, 3 is the classic goatee. Wow, I'm getting sleepy.
I'm forgiving.
It's like it's coming in,
but
we're not there yet.
The facial hair is more in than just peach fuzz. It's more just a very light beard.
Yes.
I'm giving. I know you're tired, so I'm letting you slide on this one.
I will.
And you it's like I'm letting you slide. You're tired. You just lost the belt. I've been there. I know what it feels like. It's understandable. I'm letting you slide this one episode.
Gee, how benevolent of you.
Hey man, I've been there. I know how you feel.
Well, we'll make sure we'll have a good, strong cry session after the show.
I'm not
lament for my lost title.
No, you can cry all you want. I'm just now looking forward to that moment where I steal Brian. I take all the happiness that Brian just gained, finally proving that finally filling that last void of all 3 of us now holding the Scholars of Wrestling Championship. Took him long enough, but yeah, Brian, I know you're enjoying your time with that belt, but it may not be as long as you think.
Yeah, because I'm going to overpower you all just like I did at WrestleMania, so there.
Well, yeah, when it comes to SummerSlam, I may not even use this. At least not right away.
Well, there's only one way to find out.
Maybe I'll be the first one to actually hold this and the belt at the same time.
There ought to be a rule against that. But anyway.
Nope.
That's another rule for another time. In the meantime, we want to know what you think. And you can check us out on all the normal channels. You can check us out on YouTube. Leave us a comment. Give us a thumbs up if you care to. You can also look us up on Facebook. Just run a search for a Scholars of Wrestling show. And for the first time, this show has also been added to Spotify. So you can check us out on Spotify. Run a search for the Scholars of Wrestling show under the podcast section. And of course, if you want to get a little up close and personal with us, join in the conversation, you can always check us out on our Twitter machines. You heard me. Don't look at me in that tone of voice. starting with our main page at the Scholars OW for all the latest wrestling uploads.
That was like the equivalent of, listen, do you smell something?
Yes. Yes, I do. I smell exactly what you're talking about.
All right, continue. I just had to point that out.
Main page, at Scholars OW. All the latest wrestling and episode uploads. But for conversation, you can always check us out on our Twitter machines. You can reach our current champion, Scholar Brian, at Atomic Beanpole. Fool, where can he reach you?
You can reach me at the Avataric.
And you can reach me at I'm Robbie Rage. Join us in the fun and the conversation and the trash talk. It's going to lead to some mayhem. And it's going to lead up to SummerSlam, where it all will all be decided. But until then, we are the Scholars of Wrestling, and you have just been schooled.
You're welcome.
Let's figure out how we're going to get the belt back from Brian.
That douche. Stop being in a fridge.